Cale Vance stood on the deck of the survey vessel Endurance, staring into the emptiness of space. Around them, debris drifted, broken hull panels, torn cables, and shattered lifepods. Once, this sector of space had been home to Harmony Station, a thriving human colony on the galactic rim. Now it lay silent, destroyed. Sensors had detected nothing, no energy spike, no fleet movement. The station had simply disappeared. Minor debris suggested a hull breach, but the story ended there. Then, the tiny anomaly detection probe brought back the strangest piece of evidence, a child's doll, floating among the debris, half buried in ice crystals. The toy had belonged to a nursery on Harmony Station. Its blank, cracked smile offered, "No answers, only questions. I can't believe it's gone," whispered Lieutenant Arya Chen, clipping the doll into a containment field. Her voice trembled as she studied the cracked porcelain face. She had friends stationed on now they were gone. Her hands shook as she closed the fragile box. Cale placed a steady hand on her shoulder. "We'll do our best for them. We'll figure out what happened." Below decks, analysts froze the image of the doll and catalogued tracking data. The station's last signal had cut out 10 minutes before total destruction. No distress beacon, no emergency messages, just dead silence. On the bridge, Cale drew a breath. Set a grid scan. Cover 10 million kilometers. Someone, or something, did this. Back home on Earth, the Council of Nations watched the live feed with growing dread. The president, a tall woman with silver hair named Liu, stared at the screen. She rose, voice low but firm. "Get me the director of Space Command. Now." Behind her, the hologram of Harmony Station drifted in starlight. Nations had argued for years about whether to send more ships to the rim. They had refused costly subsidies and banked on peace. Now, humanity paid the price. Space Command Director arrived, his face pale. "Ma'am, preliminary scans show." The entire station was erased in seconds. No fleet nearby. No orbital collision, just one moment, and gone. The president clenched her fist. "No one questions it. Not now. We prepare for war." Meanwhile, on the Endurance, Cale and his crew sent a signal back to Earth. "Request immediate evac and forensic team. Colony destroyed. Evidence of attack." The message began its long, light-speed journey to headquarters. Overcomes. Arya looked down at the doll again. She shook her head. They were families. They didn't deserve this. Cale nodded. "We'll tell their story." The Endurance swept the debris field. They picked up fragments of station AI logs, encrypted black box data, but fragments remained. Each data packet told the same story. One moment everything functioned, then systems failed. Shields collapsed. Then silence. There was no energy beam, no antimatter pulse, no vessel in sight. Cale frowned at the readings. "It looks like the station shut itself down, like someone pressed a kill switch." Arya shook her head. "But why, and who?" 2 days later, the Endurance returned to the last human outpost in the sector, Icarus Base, a weathered research hub. Scientists and families lived among solar arrays and hydroponic gardens. The crew docked, and Cale carried the doll to the station's small memorial museum, a makeshift sanctuary for lost explorers. Inside, holographic screens showed rotating names, people missing on Titan, Jupiter's lost miners, Cassini's error, crews. Now Harmony Station added to the list. The walls had names etched in light. Photos of smiling families. Flowers drifted in transparent glass cases. Cale set the doll beside a photo of Harmony's children's wing. A small label read, "Here we built futures." The doll leaned fragile, obscene. Arya watched. "It should be buried with them." Cale closed his eyes. "We'll give them that dignity, but we need justice first." On Earth, the council met behind closed doors. The message from Endurance had arrived. Colony destroyed. No visible aggressor. Kill switch. Signature. Diplomats argued. Some believed it was a rogue alien raid. Others suspected preemptive strike. The public demanded answers. President Liu rose again, voice firm. "We don't have fleet readiness. We don't have a full military. But we cannot show weakness, initiate full mobilization, display the fleet, demand investigation, extend an invitation to all species. Help us find the killer." Rumors spread. Allies offered condolences. But when Earth asked for help, most replied they had nothing to do with it. A few sent comfort missions. The Accords issued expressions of sympathy and silence. Meanwhile, Cale and Arya returned aboard the Endurance for a final sweep. They recovered one more piece of debris, a small shard of black metal stamped with a strange emblem. It showed a spiral crest, sharp edges, like claws closing. Cale studied the shard under his lights. He felt anger. I've seen that symbol before, but I didn't know to remember it. Arya scanned databases. We'll send it home with the doll. She paused. Kale, do you think we're ready for war? He looked down at her, determined we don't have a choice anymore. When Endurance returned to Earth, it carried more than grief. It carried truth and purpose. Symptoms of evil but no cure yet. In the Council's war room, technicians projected the black crest onto a holoscreen. Delegates leaned. It matches a symbol found in old colony records, said the lead analyst. Harmony Station had a museum exhibit on pre-settlement archaeology. They included art from a long-lost empire, the Zeroth Dominion. That symbol, it's theirs. A hush fell. President Lu's voice cut through. They've been gone for centuries. We thought they were myth, but if the Zeroth Dominion did this, then they found us. And they came for our children. At night, Cale Vance stood on a quiet viewing platform outside the war room. The hollow shadows of his colleagues blended with starlight. He touched the glass. They provoked Earth. Arya climbed beside him, carrying the containment box. Inside, the doll. Cale motioned toward the war room. But the Zeroth, whatever they are, should learn this. When you take from Earth, you wake its fury. Arya nodded. They passed. You'll lead the Earth Defense Fleet. Cale swallowed. Yes, and I need you at my side. The next morning, massive ships gathered in Earth orbit. Human-made cruisers, refitted carriers, even recovered old mining ships now armed with missiles. Planets all around sent messages of support. 12,000 vessels, civilian, private, state-run, volunteered. It was an unmatched armada. As the ships massed, the Council broadcast. They provoked Earth, and 12,000 ships answered the call. The declaration thundered across the galaxy. Allies took notice. Enemies watched. Inside the command deck of the flagship Gauntlet, Cale stood before his assembled officers. Arya stood beside him. The precious doll lay in a containment case in front of her, symbol and reminder. He spoke. They took Harmony. They killed families. They left us nothing but silence. This fleet is not here to conquer. It's here to defend. Our children, our homes, our future. We give every species a chance to stand with us or step aside. The crew cheered softly. The signal of an awakened planet. Cale raised his hand. Let's answer the call. Back on Earth, the world waited. Citizens watched live transmissions as the fleet jumped into formation and prepared for departure. Sirens and horns rang in cities. Flags flew for the first time in centuries. Humanity stood not in fear but in defiance. The camera cut across the dock. Volunteers helping wounded soldiers. Children holding banners, we remember the doll, and families crying with relief. Kilometers above. As the fleet launched into warp lanes and assembled at the battle grid, a final transmission sent to the accursed emptiness. This is Earth Fleet, seek the Zeroth Dominion, and answer for what they have done. Silence followed. Then, deep space answered back. A ripple across Kumzar frame of darkness. And somewhere, impossible far, a shimmer replied. Earth had made its stand, and 12,000 ships answered the call. Earth still reeled from the loss of Harmony Station. Across the planet, people watched the images of debris and the child's doll, and they felt a chill. They understood Earth had changed forever. A silver envoy ship slipped into Earth's orbital conference room, a vessel carrying diplomats and negotiators sent by the Galactic Council, the alliance of alien powers that watched over space. Their tall representatives in shimmering uniforms filed off the craft, faces polite but distant. Ambassador Sira Christoph, head of Earth's delegation, met them. She carried the doll in a padded case, its cracked porcelain face visible. She placed it gently on a table of polished glass. The council envoy stepped back. It was a solemn moment. A tall envoy with blue-gold skin and long lashes spoke first. We offer our condolences. Harmony's loss is tragic. His voice was measured and comforting, but when he gazed at the doll, his tone changed. Yet we see no evidence linking any council member to this act. No alien fleet attacked. No one admitted involvement. Ambassador Christoph nodded. We understand, but the station was destroyed. We will find who did this. A shorter envoy, clad in dark matte armor, shifted his eyes. Earth must cooperate. We demand full inspection of your fleet. We want to rule out internal sabotage. That drew a murmur. Earth's commander, Admiral Luis Reyes, stepped forward. Our fleet remains mobile and ready, he said. But there is no internal sabotage. The outbreak of isolationism remains small. If you show evidence otherwise, we will act. The envoy inspected Admiral Reyes Rezavis, then leaned forward. No excuses. No secrets. You must grant us full access. The Demand hung heavy in the air. In Earth's war room, behind closed doors, President Liu and her top advisors watched a debate. Some envoys pressed Earth to give up security codes and fleet deployment data. Others remained silent. The request felt invasive. Earth's security chief, General Naomi Clark, warned, "If we reveal everything, we weaken ourselves, but refusal paints us as hiding guilt." She placed a datapad on the table. "We might grant limited access, but we must safeguard command secrets." The president nodded. "We must walk carefully, show cooperation, but hold our defense." In orbit, small Council inspection teams boarded Earth's flagship Gauntlet and other warships. Engineers led diplomats through control rooms, engine bays, weapon systems. They opened doors, answered questions, and granted access, but Admiral Reyes let only trusted officers host them. Quiet guards watched each corridor. Earth leaned into transparency, but with caution. Diplomats accessed sensor logs as well, only those from near Harmony's location. They studied shield strength, energy logs, crew manifests. They found no malicious data. One counselor said, "There are no weapon signatures, no exotic beams, but none of our fleets has ever shown this level of care for civilians." In the hangar, one diplomat, amber-eyed and quiet, found the doll next to Kale's uniform jacket. She cared, stroked it gently. She was loved. She whispered, "Someone built that future here." Deep in the secret alliance corridors of Earth's command, a small group monitored the visit. Admiral Reyes, Ambassador Christoph, General Clark, and Commander Cale Vance stood together. Reyes cleared his throat. "We will be clear, truthful, but not naive." Cale nodded. "Honor opens trust. Trust builds alliances. We can't afford unity," Christoph added. "The Council might demand too much. We must keep Earth's sovereignty, but accept legitimate oversight." Clark whispered, "We will see which envoys watch, which ignore. We can't hold everything, but we hold enough." One evening, months after inspection began, reports came in from Harmony survivors, weak transmissions from stasis vaults buried deep beneath the station's core. They carried warning not just of external destruction, but of sabotage from within, a betrayal from a camera engineer wired to the central control systems. Earth Command grew quiet. They had not expected an insider. If true, then alien accusation had some foundation. In the secure core lab of the Gauntlet, scientists extracted data from stasis bay cores. Stefan, the leading technician, tapped on his console. They didn't fail the power grid. Someone activated. The drive manually overrode safety protocols. They used station AI to force systems to fatal limits. Christoph stared. "We need evidence from the sabotage logs." Stefan nodded. "I'm pulling everything." At that moment, alarms sounded. Council envoys stepped off the elevator, escorted by guards. Reyes took a breath. "We have new data. We believe Harmony was destroyed by internal sabotage and insider. The triggers came from station systems, not from space." Murmurs of shock across the room. The lead envoy in blue-gold skin furrowed his brow. "These allegations are serious." "If true," Clark added, "then Earth was both victim and victimized internally. We will present evidence. We will continue cooperating." The dilemma grew more complex. Diplomatic relations strained. Council envoys split. Some grew sympathetic. They had not wanted this tragedy. Others hardened. They still demanded oversight. The military-born envoy in dark armor, cold and hard, pressed Earth to reveal all secrets. President Liu convened emergency sessions. "We will present the logs. We will uncover the traitors. But we will not open our entire fleet to alien hands." A decision was made. Earth would produce a public report, redacted for security, and hold a summit to reveal truth so all sides saw. Transparency in action. At the summit on Terra Nova Station, humans and Council envoys gathered. Holoscreens lit with data, security logs, sabotage timestamps, AI overrides, crew lists, and station schematics. Scientist Stefan presented calmly. "Here is the sequence of events. Saboteur keylogged from station engineering 8 minutes before. System shutdown. We traced it. The camera images showed the person turned controls manually." A hush followed. Christoph added, "We are identifying the suspect. We will hold a trial." She turned to Council envoys. "We ask for trust and for fairness." The military envoy glanced, anger flashing. "We demand immediate access to the suspect. Transparency." General Clark responded calmly. "Once evidence is secured, we will allow an independent review." Days later, Earth announced the suspect, Dr. Marek Voss, veteran technician who had worked on station AI. He was detained. Under questioning, he confessed. blackmailed by unknown force. They took my brother, they made me do it, he said. He mentioned strange transmissions, he decoded whispers of an empire long dead. The council envoys exchanged glances. Some eyes softened, some hardened. Earth won a tentative victory. Oversight teams stayed. Some envoys left, others remained. But one thing was clear, Earth had not hidden. It had pursued truth, and the saboteur had been real. At a press background, President Liu said, "We honor Harmony's loss. We find the truth. We ask no forgiveness, only justice." Back on the Gauntlet's bridge, Cale Vance looked at the holoboard. His finger hovered over the Zereth emblem. "They wanted to paint us as fragile or lying. We refused both." Arya stood by quietly. "They finally see us own us." He nodded. "And now Earth can stand tall." The camera pans out, the battered doll lying next to crew AWOL badges. Earth has proven to the galaxy, humanity is not so easily deceived. They will defend themselves. And soon, far more than 12,000 ships may come, not just for revenge, but for trust. The skies over Earth were unlike anything seen before. In high-altitude drones and orbital platforms, communications flickered non-stop. Live feeds showed coast-to-coast efforts. Shipyards refitting old vessels, cargo ports turning into mobilization zones, civilian fleets arming for one purpose: answer the call. Inside the Gauntlet, Earth's new flagship captain Cale Vance stood before the command bridge's array of screens. Around him, officers watched the data scroll. Non-stop requests to join the Earth Armada were pouring in. "Message from Mars freighter Celestial Hope," said Lieutenant Arya Chen. "They offer 5 assault corvettes and 40 crew. New coalition from lunar mining rigs, 20 ships." Officer Malik added, "Private sector, thousands of small transports converted to patrol vessels. Total ships offered 8,600. The command room erupted in murmurs. Cale took a breath. "Arya, come unique channel to Earth Command. Say rally is real. Authorize full fleet integration." She tapped fast. Soon, confirmation pinged back. "Authorization granted. All Earth-affiliated vessels can join." Cheers broke out. Overwhelming applause. For weeks the promise had been in the air. Now it was real. Across the globe, public squares erupted in celebration. Giant screens broadcast Cale's image. "Citizens of Earth, friends across the colonies today, we answer together. We stand with 12,000 ships. We will never be silent again." Fireworks shaped like Earth's blue marble exploded over major cities. Families on balconies hugged. Alliance volunteers lined streets, signing up to help in a converted spaceport. In New Sydney, engineer Zara Nguyen looked around at repurposed freighters. Her voice broke when she said, "We built the spark. Now we build the flame." Away from the celebration, high in an orbital command tower, Admiral Luis Reyes watched without emotion, but his eyes glinted. He spoke quietly to General Naomi Clark. "Have enough ships now. Now we can draw the line." Clark nodded. "We can defend Earth, but we need plan. Designs show Zereth operatives may be hiding in colony systems. They might strike again." Reyes pressed a button. "Activate Project Unity coordinated patrol lines, convoy escorts, and blockade screenings. Let the Armada make us strong." On Earth's western coast, thousands of volunteers boarded transports ready to follow the fleet. Among them was young pilot Leo Rowe, standing before his refitted transport ship. He wore an earth-gray flight suit, patched with flags of minor colonies. He raised his fist. His fellow volunteers cheered. "For Earth, for Harmony." Leo took a breath. "We'll show them Earth is not alone." In orbit, the Gauntlet received live feeds from the fleet integration zones. Mars freighter teams worked with Earth Marine detachments to add weapon systems. Lunar miners taught hull finishing techniques. Private volunteers wired sensors. Each vessel that joined was an individual's choice. An act of belief. KL tapped the holodome display. 12,000 dots. Growing. "Bring them home when they return, but first we make them part of the line." Arya responded. "They're ready. Enthusiastic. They want purpose." Cale nodded. "Let's give it to them." The council response came quickly. On the council, Cruiser Silver Accord, Ambassador Sierra Christoph listened. Council flags in the corridor lengthened. Diplomatic envoys observed as Earth readied itself for war. Christoph leaned to her diplomat aide. "They will not collapse under pressure." Her aide nodded. "No, they grow stronger." The armored envoy caught wind of her words. He frowned at the monitored feeds. 12,000. That is destabilizing. "We encourage self-defense, but this is war preparation." He wrote an urgent directive. "Send diplomatic warning. No further escalation." Meanwhile, out near the edge of the system, the Zereth Dominion reconnaissance destroyer Shadow Talon maneuvered into position. Its captain, Cloak and Dark Eyes, scanned the sensors. They had watched Earth's reaction. They had expected slack. Fear instead. Earth erupted. Captain Morik whispered. They answered. Now we see who they are. On Earth, ceremonies continued. The fleet integrated. Families waved. Volunteers prayed. Engineers hustled. In front of the gauntlet, Kale led a unity ceremony. Speeches, oaths, and pledges were made. A single line echoed. We defend, never provoke. We stand, never retreat. We protect every child, every world, every colony. Thousands repeated. 12,000 crew across 12,000 vessels lit flares that stayed in orbit visible from space. Arya watched tears drip. They answered the call. That night, Kale returned to the flag deck with President Liu and Admiral Reyes. Liu placed her hand on the holoconsole. Is it enough? Kale replied firmly. It's more than enough. We stand ready to defend, and to offer peace in solidarity. The Zereth tried to silence us. Instead, we awakened a fleet. Reyes added softly. If they come again, they'll find 12,000 ships waiting. Earth fell silent, but it was loud with purpose. Space was quiet but not peaceful. From the edge of the solar system, the Zereth Dominion's envoy vessel Shadow Talon approached a council observation post. It carried a single message. Earth's massive fleet must disband or face consequences. Meanwhile, aboard the Earth flagship Gauntlet, alarms blinked. Captain Kale Vance stood by the holoscreen as Ambassador Sira Christoph's calm voice came through. By order of the Zereth Dominion, Earth must reduce its fleet to less than 50 war-grade ships. The rest must return to civilian or humanitarian roles. They claim your fleet threatens galactic balance. Kale's jaw tightened. He looked at Admiral Reyes. The Admiral's face was cold. They both understood. This was a test. Back on Earth, President Liu addressed the world. The Zereth have demanded we cut our fleet. They say our defense is a threat. We respect peace, but not at the cost of safety. We will meet them. Her tone was firm, yet measured. Fear and hope battled in her audience, some worried about conflict. Others felt pride in Earth's resolve. On the Silver Accord, envoys whispered. The Zerath envoy, tall and pale, projected ancient authority. He spoke. Earth must comply. Reduce fleet, or we declare your defense a hostile act. Sira Christoph stepped forward, steady voice. We will cooperate with peace in mind. But we cannot disarm against the dominion that killed harmony. The Zereth envoy's eyes narrowed. Then you force us to act. With that he strode out. Silence followed. A tense council meeting convened. Aliens from dozens of worlds argued. Some supported the Zereth's demand. They wanted order. Others sided with Earth. They admired its unity. Finally, the lead moderator spoke. Earth is permitted to maintain its fleet for defensive purpose, but you are ordered to open your fleet to inspection by impartial observers. You must also withdraw half your ships into civilian or peacekeeping roles. Kale watched as President Liu accepted the terms. It was not victory, but it was survival. On the Gauntlet, Kale addressed his crew. Half our ships must switch to peace roles: transport, rescue, research. The rest stay on defense. We obey, but we show we can be responsible. The crew nodded. They had answers before. We stand ready for balance. On Earth, crew and volunteers rebranded the fleet. Defiance Fleet, 6,000 armed ships, war grade kept in orbit, training, patrol. Unity Fleet, 6,000 converted vessels, hospital ships, supply carriers, civilian transports, rescue craft. Flags were changed. Military markings updated. Peace insignia flew beside battle stripes. In a remote communication hub, Zara Nguyen and Arya Chen worked together to send a public message. Earth has listened. We respect galactic order. We stand ready to defend our planet. We also stand ready to help others. The message spread across council media. Earth's goodwill attempt rippled through alien networks' news channels. Networks. Broadcast towers everywhere lit up with images of Unity Fleet helping rebuild burned habitats near Venus, sending medical supplies to solar flare victims, escorting refugee ships. But not all were pleased. A Zereth warlord watched the footage, his face stone cold. They disobeyed too much. They keep more than 50 armed ships. Is that allowed? Another voiced concern. Earth follows the terms, but they keep their guardian fleet. It is still a threat. Their doubt grew. They demanded further limits. But the council majority stood firm. They would not remove Earth's right to defend on Earth. Kale met with Sarah and Admiral Reyes in the command room. Kale showed his hololog of Unity Fleet missions. We aren't stopping, just transforming. We protect peace and practice it. Sarah nodded. That's what convinced Council. The Zereth still watch, but they can't force us further, Reyes concluded. We walk a fine line, but Earth can stand taller now. Damage from the Zereth's threat rippled across public opinion. Some feared war. Protests began in megacities. No war. Disarm Earth. Others rallied. Stand firm. They attacked our home. President Liu spoke again to calm them. We seek peace. We honor Council rules. We defend Earth, our homes, our people. Let unity guide us. She also scheduled listening sessions, town halls across Earth orbit, and lunar bases so citizens could ask questions and be heard. High above, in orbit, Kale stood with Arya. Looking out over the dockyard, the ships gleamed, some repaired, some repainted. Arya asked softly, "Do you think the Zereth are satisfied?" Kale paused. "Maybe for now, but we must prove ourselves over time. We show that we protect, not threaten." He looked at the silent holes beneath. If they cross the line, we stand, but only if they do. In space, the Zereth Dominion watched their fleet edged closer to Earth's sphere, but they held their position. A Zereth admiral reported. Earth lowered its weapons. They show restraint, but they keep guard ships. He paused. Stand by for further provocation. A tense calm settled across the solar system. Earth's defensive forces patrolled near the orbit of Mars and Venus. Unity ships worked in humanitarian capacity. Diplomats and inspectors flowed freely, but Earth's heart beat with purpose and vigilance. Earth felt the weight of the Zereth demand, like the hush before a storm. On the surface, cities buzzed with activity. On the lunar orbit, ships reorganized themselves. Out of 10,000 vessels, 6,000 remained armed and vigilant. The rest became supply ships, med ships, rescue carriers, symbols of hope rather than aggression. In a quiet control room inside Unity 1, Zara Nguyen adjusted satellite feeds showing Unity fleet ships delivering food and medicine to remote stations. Near Mars and Venus, engineers and medics waved to the cameras. Children on distant bases smiled. Zara whispered to Arya Chen. Beside her, "We're healing things, not just fighting." Arya nodded. "They need to see that. Peace through action." Down on Earth, President Liu addressed crowds in public squares and virtual halls. Her message was clear. Earth would defend itself, but also reach out to others in kindness. A wave of relief rolled through humanity, especially volunteers who signed up to join peace missions. Engineers boarded transports bound for distant habitats. Teachers offered lessons aboard Unity ships. Civilian convoys carried seed banks and medical supplies. But not everyone cheered. In hidden corners of government, some worried peace would only last until the Zerath returned. General Naomi Clark met Admiral Reyes in a secure briefing room. Clara charts of fleet readiness stood behind them. "We've met the Zereth demands," Clark said, "but if they strike again, this system becomes a war zone." Reyes tapped the table. "Then we must prepare in secret. Covert drills, stealth training, black ops. We show zero aggression, but we don't blind ourselves." Together, they set up Project Iron Shield, a hidden program to train crews and weapons systems under civilian cover. No diplomat would know. It was a quiet promise. Never repeat the mistakes of silence. Elsewhere, Kale Vance met with Ambassador Christoph in the Unity hangar. They watched the fleet stars on rails and spoke softly. "The Zereth respect our unity," Christoph said, "but they still see 6,000 war ships. They are watching," Kale replied. "Then we must give them something they can't ignore, proof. We're not waiting for war. We close ranks with other species. Invite them into our Unity missions." Christoph smiled. "That's diplomacy in motion." They prepared to send an embassy ship to the Council cruiser Silver Accord, bringing Earth pilots, Unity crew, and guests from Mars habitats and lunar colonies. Together they would train alongside Accord ships in a goodwill exercise. Weeks later, in the asteroid fields near Mars, several dozen Unity ships and a Council corvette practiced rescue and formation drills. In one exercise, Earth medics simulated treating injured civilians after a mining accident. In another, joint teams patched hole scars on damaged survey vessels. Cameras on all ships rolled. The images were peaceful, deliberate. Kale joined the drills, standing on a deck overlooking the field. He saw Earth volunteers handing water bottles to alien residents. No weapons fired, just compassion. He felt something shift. This was stronger than anger. This was connection back home. Public broadcasts of these exercises spread hope. Children charted the Unity fleet on home consoles. Social media glowed with pride. Earth is healing the galaxy. One banner read, another, "We answer with mercy." But deep in Zarath space, their commanders received these messages with stone faces. One general whispered, "They don't prepare for real battles yet." Another, more impatient officer said, "They'll grow weak. They need to be crushed." On Earth, Kale reviewed encrypted intel showing leaked messages suggesting Zerath warmongers prepared their own forces near Accord borders. That worried him deeply. He brought the data to the Gauntlet's command room, showing unaltered logs to Admiral Reyes and Ambassador Christoph. Reyes placed a hand on Kale's shoulder. "We act quietly, we don't provoke. But we don't wait to be provoked." Plans were made to discreetly warn other Council nations, send encrypted signals about Zarath force buildup without being traced back to Earth directly. They sought allies quietly before war storms. That evening, Kale returned to his cabin. Arya waited at the door. Behind her, his cabin held small items. The doll from Harmony, a patch from the Unity fleet, a picture of children on Mars. He exhaled. Arya said, "We did good today." He nodded, eyes tired. "We did more than good, we showed the galaxy a better way. Now we must protect it." She placed her hand over his. "They'll see, they'll join." He smiled faintly. "Let's hope." Outside the vessel, distant, stars watched over the scattered ships. The Unity fleet continued its peace mission. Beneath that calm, Project Iron Shield trained silently. Council observers gently applauded Earth's heart. Zerath war rooms gasped at its confidence. The next morning, Ambassador Christoph announced another step. Earths would host the first joint Unity Council conference aboard Lunar Station to plan humanitarian missions together. In meeting halls and docks, engineers and diplomats began new work. They built classrooms, hospitals, workshops. They painted murals telling Earth's story, from tragedy to unity. They recorded voices alien and human in a universal song of healing. As Earth's sun rose above the dome, children guided alien, students in plant gardens, medics trained in emergency drills, volunteers loaded arms with medicine, not missiles. Space swells with possibility. Magazines printed the headline, "From Ashes, Unity." Underneath the holes, hidden crews drilled missile tubes. They polished weapons behind closed doors. But discipline held posture in readiness, matched with open palms. Kale walked through the docks wearing a calm uniform. He paused by a converted hospital ship and touched its side. He thought of Harmony's children and their doll. He thought of Earth's promise, unity, not vengeance. Yet, in the dark corridors of Gauntlet, the silent hum of Project Iron Shield pulsed through stealth consoles. War may never come, but Earth would stand ready. In the light of day, they answered. The Zerath, not with force but with 1,000 acts of peace. Underneath, they prepared a shield no one could break. And all around, humanity held both open hands and hidden fists ready for whichever came first. Humanity had provoked hope. Now they prayed they had answered wisely. Earth's peace project swung into high gear, and yet, beneath the calm, hidden shadows worked steadily. In orbit around Venus, Unity fleet ships flew like silent doves on patrol. Supply vessels delivered food to mining stations damaged by solar storms. Rescue units practiced medevac drills in open space. Cameras broadcast scenes of ships gently hovering above orange skies, sending humanitarian aid. Millions watched, hearts warmed. But Earth's leadership never forgot the threat. Deep inside the Gauntlet, Kale Vance stood over a holomap lit with blinking red. Zerath and Council secured system zones. Admiral Reyes and Ambassador Christoph stood with him. Kale's voice was low. Zerath fighters are massing near the Hyades Rift. We've gathered interception data, but they're not sending diplomatic teams. They're gearing for war. A soft alarm pinged. Zara Nugent's face glowed on the comm screen. We've traced encrypted comms from Zarath battle groups heading this way. 48 hours. Kale's heart quickened. Reyes turned away from the screen. We don't provoke, but we defend, Christoph added, voice steady. Then we tell our allies. The Council must stand with us now. On Earth, global broadcasts switched tone. Peaceful scenes were still shown, but alongside them flew satellite feeds with warnings. Secure lines to Council members summarizing the threat. Unity ships remained, neutral in appearance, but defiant in their presence. Meanwhile, in a converted hangar on Earth's surface, excitement grew among the Project Iron Shield teams. Technicians refined hybrid engine drives used for fast response missions. Pilots trained in stealth evasive tactics. Soldiers practiced urban defense just in case. Arya Chen paced among them, clutching her flight patch. She spoke with recruits in hushed tones. Remember, we fly to peace, but we cannot forget to fight. A new voice joined a Council liaison, pilot from a distant star system. tall and graceful. She nodded. We train with you, we fly beside you, we want to stand for peace, too. That gesture meant more than words. Far away, in Zereth command centers, hardliners hailed Earth's rearmament as rebellion. One of them barked, they use diplomacy to gather weapons. We strike before their fleet grows stronger, but cooler. Heads pressed caution. Another Zereth leader argued, if we attack now, we lose the moral high ground. Earth has been transparent, humanity chose to shield, not to kill. A strike could turn the Council and Galaxy against us. Debate continued, but they prepared irreversibly. With the threat ticking closer, Kale made a bold move. He announced a unity parade and orbital ceremony showcasing joint vessels from Earth, Council allies, and Martian and lunar volunteers. Ships would glide in formation, then hold position while diplomats passed in a unity flotilla across the Gauntlet's deck. The ceremony was broadcast live. Billions watched as colored holes passed overhead, the blue and green of Earth, the ivory white of Council, the red of Mars, the pale silver of Luna. Arya and the Council liaison flew wingship. Leading the formation. KO opened the ceremony. This is our stand, not just as Earth, but as a united galaxy. We stand together in peace. We remain vigilant in defense. Cameras cut to smiling cruise-humans, aliens, Martians, people of many worlds. It was a living statement. Suddenly, alarms flared. Prox comes military band. Zereth's signature incoming. Zara's voice trembled. 3 Zarath corvettes, closing on Hyades relay. They're unarmed, but they do not identify. Kale's jaw tightened. They're probing. Reyes placed a hand on Kale's shoulder. Do not engage unless they fire first, but we will maintain our corridor. The 3 Zereth ships glided along the edge of the flotilla, not aggressive, just silent. Council liaison voiced their calm tone. They observe us. Tension rippled across the formation. Families pressed their tools to watch. Pilots held their breath. One Zereth corvette edged dangerously, close to a Unity medical ship. The pilot aboard the medical ship turned and sent a peaceful hail. We are here to heal, not fight. A moment of static. Then the Zereth captain replied, voice oddly flat. We see you. Their ships repositioned away. Kale kept the Unity formation intact. This counted as breakthrough. They held space. They showed discipline. Back on Earth, people exhaled. Messages poured in. They saw us. They backed away. Diplomatic successes soared, but Kale knew better than to celebrate. In the Gauntlet's war room, Admiral Reyes tapped a console. The Zereth remain unprovoked so far. We matched terms. We held steady. They will retreat or escalate. Christoph added. We opened doors. We held them. They waited at the edge. Kale looked at the hologlobe. With the fleet still half peace, half defense. Now's the test. We prove we can stand when the storm arrives. Within hours, encrypted channels brought evidence of Zereth reinforcement waves launching toward Earth. Not embassies, destroyers, fighters, support vessels. The threat became clear. Earth's leaders were briefed. President Liu addressed the planet one more time. We stand on peacebot. We stand also on defense. We ask the Council to remain by our side, and our unity by our side. We do not seek war, but we will not turn away it either. Public response was mixed. Protests started again, but this time more cautious. People held flags that read, hold the line, hold the heart. On the Gauntlet, Kale and his crew worked through the night coordinating patrol routes, running simulations of Zerath maneuvers, prepping Unity supply ships to double as emergency shelters in case of strike. Project Iron Shield teams fitted covert upgrades. Arya joined him. She pointed at a side chart, numbers of civilian ships still not weighted. We still carry hope. Let them see hope moves with us. Kale nodded. Hope is our shield as much as any armor. They held a quiet moment, gazing at the fleet ready behind them. As dawn touched Earth, the Unity parade had ended. Zereth ships lingered at the rim, but no weapons fired. The world watched. The question was, would they leave? Or would this silence break into fire? Earth prepared. The Council watched. Zereth decided, and in that waiting, hope and dread intertwined across the stars. A deep calm settled over Earth's space, but it held its breath. On the deck of Gauntlet, Captain Cale Vance and Admiral Reyes stood among crews, diplomats, and volunteers. Silver lights danced from distant ships. The captured Zerath drone lay in a transparent case, its dark plates, no harmless dot above them. The Unity fleet and Defiance fleet orbited in silent formation. Alien and human vessels glowed side by side, their colors reflecting hope and resolve. Major Arya Chen stood at Kale's Sighed, she looked out at the fleet she helped shape. Kale placed a hand on her shoulder. He spoke quietly. We faced threats in silence. We answered them with truth. Now we must close this. On Earth news broadcasts highlighted the moment they provoked Earth, and Earth answered with unity. Families in distant colonies watched emotional images. Crews cheering, children waving, diplomats shaking hands. Back on the Council flagship Silver Accord, ambassadors and delegates watched Earth's display. Among them, Ambassador Christoph stood tall. She turned to the Zeruth envoy and said, "They've shown restraint and unity. They did not strike. They held their ground, but they also opened their arms in peace." The Zeruth envoy's eyes flickered. He spoke quietly in his own tongue, then turned to the Council's lead moderator. "They honor us by showing strength and mercy. We must not be blind." A hush fell. The Council votes were tallied. The decision was clear. Earth's unity stood strong. In orbit above Mars, Zeruth war leaders convened via cum relay. They watched the ceremony. Unity ships, civilian volunteers, the faces of human settlers. A young Zeruth commander whispered, "They're stronger than before." An older general nodded. "We underestimated their heart." The War Council fell silent, then broke in murmurs. Some pushed for retreat, others demanded a test. But most agreed Earth had changed the game. Below, Kale and his crew prepared a final move, a long-range transmission broadcasting Earth's message to the galaxy. "We come in peace, we defend our home, we share knowledge, culture, medicine. We ask no war, only respect. If any empire wishes to stand against us unprovoked, know this: Earth will answer, but it will never forget to care." The message was sent through Council channels and open broadcasts, hoping for response. On Earth stations, the signal played in plazas and aboard ships. People cried, cheered, embraced. It was a statement, not defiant, not aggressive, but firm and hopeful. Days passed. Diplomatic envoys from Council worlds prepared to visit Earth. Trade delegations prepared deals. Martian architects offered to help build peace stations. Lunar scholars offered arts exchange. Humanity received letters and messages of solidarity. Even within the Zeruth Dominion, secret delegations arrived, a sign that enemies could become friends. In the final scene, Kale stood on a hillside under Earth's sky. Children played with hybrid Earth's Erath, toy symbolic of unity. Arya sat beside him, supporting his arm. He looked at the stars. His voiceover began, soft but clear. "They provoked us. We answered not with bombs, but with courage. Not with hatred, but with hope." A planet answered the call. 12,000 ships, 1,000,000 hearts, and a single promise: we will protect, we will unite, we will rise. Arya smiled and touched his hand. "We answered." He faced her. Together, deep in the Hyades rift system, peace reigned, calm as stars. But hidden in the darkness, dangerous forces moved. Zeruth cruisers slipped into Jupiter's shadow lanes. War fighters cloaked in advanced stealth systems glided toward Earth's patrol routes. They came not with weapons lit, but with silence. And that silence hid intent. On the flagship Gauntlet, the bridge was deadly still. Kale Vance stood beside Admiral Reyes, both watching tactical feeds. The blip of a dark ship flickered across the monitor. Zara Nguyen leaned from her station. "Unidentified signature, close range, no comms, no transponder," she whispered. The ship advanced, skirting Earth's patrol zone just beyond the Unity ships. Arya Chen gripped her console. "They're probing." "They did that before." Kale nodded. "Maintain distance. Keep Unity formation tight." The Zircon craft drifted along the edge of the formation. No salute, no greeting. The bridge crew held their breath as it passed. Cameras aboard Unity quietly recorded the craft's hull. Dark plates with no markings. Alien but old. Zeruth tech. A sudden alarm snapped the room awake. Collision alert. The dark ship flashed as it released a silent drone. It hovered near a Council research vessel. No audio and no visible weapons. Just a hovering drone examining sensors. The Council liaison pilot murmured, "They map us." Kale spoke firmly. "We will not fire first. Observation is permitted but not interference. Track and relay." Zara's fingers flew. "Drone is scanning electronics. It's sampling ship energy signatures." Kale answered, "Allow it. We record everything." Moment after moment passed. The drone hovered by the research ship's hull. Counter's defensive sensors locked on it. The Unity ship held steady. Then the drone blinked away and raced toward deep space. It escaped the radar. The bridge held tense silence. No one spoke. Admiral Reyes eventually exhaled. "They used a drone. They didn't shoot first." That means they're testing. Kale focused on the display. They want to know our systems without provoking us. He pressed his comlink. Attention all ships. Maintain formation. Watch for further stealth probes. Do not engage unless fired upon. Lights flickered off Earth's console walls. Council ships stirred. Members looked shaken. They feared escalation. But Kale's calm order reminded them, Earth's rules applied even now. Far deeper in orbit, Kale and Sarah Christoph held a small session on the Gauntlet's deck. They reviewed footage of the drone, noting stealth patterns, cloak fields, analysis tools. They're preparing, Sarah said quietly. Studying our fleet, Kale replied. Then we prepare to defend our home. But we can't break Unity's promise. We don't attack first. She nodded. We must sense them before they sense us. Deep within Earth's defense networks, Project Iron Shield hustled into action. Teams disguised in civilian gear prepared covert countermeasures, fast response drones, silent decoys, cloak jammers. Zereth tech would be met by Earth innovation. They began broadcasting coded signals and encrypted warnings that Zereth probes were unwelcome and shared data with Council systems that monitored cloaked contacts. Around Earth, Unity ships grew more alert. Commercial freighters moved with calculated care. Medical convoys practiced rapid lockdown procedures. Volunteering aid became protective sojourns under vigilance. On Earth's surface, families followed every live update. Cities held their breath. No announcements came. News reporters spoke of quiet tension. Children whispered about possible war. Streets stayed calm, but hearts raced. 2 days passed with no further disruption. Kale stood on the observation deck aboard the Gauntlet, looking out over fading stars. A council liaison officer sat beside him. They both watched the shadowy emptiness. Then, at a side screen, the drone appeared again, this time near a Unity medical ship. It hovered close to the hull, scanned and pulsed light rays onto external systems. The medics inside stayed calm but tense. Arya's voice crackled. They're mapping medical hull. They must prepare for infiltration. Kale spoke clear. Track it. Relay data to Iron Shield. Prep intercept teams. Moments later, Earth's drone interceptors launched. Silent sphere drones glowed and raced into the void, guided by Arya's controls. They trapped the enemy drone in an electromagnetic web. It blinked, it stalled, then it shut down and drifted passive. A cheer erupted on the deck. The captured enemy drone floated like quiet proof. Kale watched as engineers opened a compartment, revealing Zereth symbols etched on dark plates. The council liaison officer gave Kale a respectful nod. Sarah Christoph arrived seconds later. Her voice held pride as she said, You met their probe, but you responded without war. Kale placed a hand on the drone's side. They wanted answers. We gave them on our terms. At that moment, Earth's long-range scanners caught a flash. Not a drone, but 3 locked Zereth corvettes popping back into stealth, circling the Unity formation at high speed. They lingered, watching. The bridge crews noticed a poised predator tracking prey. Kale raised his voice. All ships battle readiness alert. Shield formation Bravo. Iron Shield intercept teams stand by. No first strike. He thought of Harmony Station, of the doll. He thought of the Unity promise. He thought of thousands of ships behind him. And he thought, this is the moment. In orbit, Uranian moons silhouetted the 3 ships. Then the corvettes blinked off scanners into stealth. A silent threat. Kale stared at the dark blips. He closed his eyes. He whispered, Let them know we see them. They cannot hide this long. He tapped his console, relayed to Zereth covert channel, We see you. If you attack one of us, you will have 12,000 ships to answer to. Back on the bridge, tension hung thick. Admiral Reyes took Kale's shoulder. You did well. You held them in check for now, Arya added. We gave them respect. We showed strength. Kale nodded, determined. Now we wait. Next move from Zereth, or we respond. On Earth's broadcast networks, the capture of the drone played in short clips. Headline, Earth catches Zero spy in stealth. We will not allow hidden war. Protesters and patriots both spoke, but mostly, quiet pride rose. Zerath command centers lit with red quiet. The captured drone was analyzed. Its cloaking plates confused them. They realized Earth had leveled up. Their aggression was checked, and that terrified hardliners in their war rooms far beyond the system. The council envoy aboard Silver Accord issued a statement. Earth has acted within our promises. It is both strong and restrained. We judged them worthy but still watched. But no one doubted. Earth had passed the first major test. Unity had stood firm. Now, the game would escalate or find peace. Kale remained on the bridge. The drone sat inert in a holding bay behind him. He watched distant stars swirl through the viewport. Then he whispered softly, "We are ready." And in that silent moment, the next chapter of human legend, but not of war, began.